In the next hour, we want to put a smile on your face, elevate your endorphins, and bring you happiness. Welcome to Say Yes, Be Happy with Nathalie Botros. We spend so much of our lives chasing happiness, it might just be where you least expect it to be. Nathalie and her guests are going to show you how and where to find it. And now, your host, Nathalie Botros.
Hi everyone, it's me, Nathalie Botros, the Bon-Vivant girl and self-proclaimed happiness fairy. Welcome to my podcast, Say Yes, Be Happy, where I spend my every Tuesday trying to spread some happiness dust on all of you. And with my guests, we always try to say yes to life and be happy and to find the silver lining in everything. Today, I have an amazing guest and we're going to talk about love with her. And, regardless of your relationship status, you always want to find the best outfit for your love life. And I said, we need to have someone amazing for that. And I got the love designer, Renee Piane. Hi, Renee.
Hi there. I'm so happy to be here. This wild world, right? We're so far away, yet we're right here together to bring more happiness to the world. I think everybody could use it right now.
Yeah. And, you spread love. I spread happiness. So we're a good match. So before starting, I want to tell you who is Renee, because she's not just anyone. She's like the love designer, and she's internationally known as a relationship reinvention expert, a master at connecting people, and one of the top influencers and coaches in the love industry. She worked with high-powered executives and celebrities who are looking for their ultimate match or are going through transition in their relationships. She has 2 books. The first one is Get Real About Love, The Secrets to Opening Your Heart. And the second one is Finding True Love and Love Mechanics, the Power Tools to Build Successful Relationship with Women. She is known as the love designer because she assists people with clarifying their vision and developing an action plan to create the lifestyle aligned with their goals. She believes the choice of a life partner is the most important decision that you'll ever make, and advises busy singles to slow down to avoid rushing into relationships. It's exactly what we need right now. Married to the man of her dreams that I just met 2 minutes ago, Renee Piane said yes to love and made her mission to mentor people who are looking for love, to heal broken hearts, and to rekindle the passion in existing relationships. Well, Renee, welcome back.
Well, hey, technical problems sometimes cause challenges, but we're here to share great inspiration. So great to see you. And it was so fun meeting you on Clubhouse. So that's how we met. It's, love can happen anywhere, and spreading, meeting people's like synergy, so we have that synergy, and I'm glad that we'll be able to talk and help people that might be not feeling that synergy today.
Exactly. Before everything, I know that you've been in the dating business for the last 29 years. And how did you become a love designer, and what is the love designer? Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, because I was in the beauty industry and I was an image makeover expert, I was talking to people about their love lives, whether I was getting them ready for a wedding or they were going through a breakup and they were getting their hair fixed or whatever, getting their makeup done for photo shoots. So I used to help them with their clothing and their image and their heart. But back then I wasn't giving direct love advice, but I was pretty good at it. And I was studying neurolinguistic programming, and I was studying spiritual studies, and I had a lot of wisdom that I wanted to share. And then I moved to Los Angeles, and I loved connecting people. So I combined all the different aspects of my life, my spiritual studies, my hypnotherapy, all the things that I know about the mind and the heart, so that I can help people in all different ways. So I put together packages depending on what a person needs. A lot of people that are back in the game again, they're really confused about the dating game. It's very complicated,
Yeah.
So I help bring all those tools together.
Yeah, it's because you don't only help singles. That's what I love about you. It's you help also couples. You help obviously people who got divorced and who wants to go back on the game. You help busy executives. So which one is like, I mean, during like we just went through this pandemic, and then which was like the biggest client base that you had?
I got to tell you, the busy executives finally in this world have had time to slow down to reflect on one of the most important decisions of your life,
Yeah.
love. And many people that weren't working, right? So they were like, what am I going to do with all this time? So I was doing a lot of radio shows, and people would hear me and they'd think, oh my God, because I tell people it's time to reflect. And my book called Get Real About Love, I think people had an opportunity, whether they liked it or not, all around the world to look at their life and look at how the busyness of their lives, they weren't connected even with their families. Some of them weren't connected with their spouses.
Yeah.
Some of them were home alone going, oh my God, now I'm in my house. How am I going to meet people? So I've been teaching classes on meeting even during COVID. But the biggest part of it is reflecting on your own heart about what could have been blocking you when you were working the spinning lifestyle that
Yeah.
most of us have. And the only reason I know that was because I am that. I was a workaholic before I met my husband. I kept thinking, the busy people are always thinking, oh, once I get to this certain level, then I'm going to open myself up. Well, the more successful you get, the busier you get, and the less time you have to reflect on this decision. So I think it's really important to do that. I think for not only busy executives, everyday people,
Of
we all
course.
have time to reflect.
I mean, yes, in your book, you give this example of, like really, you have to, like, it will be too late if you don't give some time for yourself to find someone. And like, in some cases, we're always saying, I will do it, like when my hair grows, like when the season changes, when I buy this, when I finish this deal. And then suddenly we're like, oh, wait, it's been too late. So it's
never too late. It's just that in your mind, you keep wanting to achieve a certain level of success, thinking that's going to bring it right to you, when in fact, it's really the openness of your heart. So that's why I tell you, oh, so you've been reading the book. I know you've been reading it.
I told you I was going to read, and I love it. I gave it to all my girlfriends. I'm like, you have to read this book. It's so great.
So what did you like? I think really what people say is I've never looked so deep into my own heart before, and I didn't until things happened to me that shocked my life, over and over, like my best friend dying. She was the CNN news reporter that was going to get her health show, right? That's all she wanted. And then she kept working and working. She had men wanting to marry her. And she would say, once this is in play, but then once she started doing the health show, she got cancer and she ended up dying. And
Yeah.
I was there. She had men come to visit her that were in love with her, but she didn't have time for it. And that was her biggest message. Take time for love before whether you're successful or you're not, it doesn't matter. Make sure that's a priority so that you can build a life with someone, rather than thinking, once you're rich and famous, then you're going to get that perfect person, like movie stars. I work with a lot of movie stars too.
Yeah.
And they're just the same as everybody else, but those are our role models of what we follow.
Of course, like we say, like we think that success is like being a movie star, but I mean, like it doesn't mean that they're all happy and happily, in their love life too. I think I always say to my clients, it's like, first, don't look for someone because you're lonely. Look for someone because you're ready to get someone in your life. And I think, I mean, I met my boyfriend during COVID at the age of 46. And then like I spent all these years preparing myself, I think. And, I was always going for the wrong guy, like the too ambitious guy. And then like we will be like kind of in a competition. Right now, my partner he's really like my biggest cheerleader. He's like so excited about my success, and it's what I love. And I think I was like preparing myself to be ready for that. So the question is, for the singles out there, let's start with the singles, because like we know that this is like what they want to know. What are the 3 big mistakes that they do when they look for someone?
They rush into relationships too quickly because they're busy. They try to act like the relationship is like a business deal. Like a lot of men would say to me, well, if I'm with a woman and I'm dating her, if by date 3 there's nothing happening, I'm done. I'm know her, like, why would you judge and rush, push yourself into rushing into love? That's number one, and not really being clear. Number 2 would be not really being totally clear on what you want, but the physical, attraction sometimes takes over, and then you get involved too soon sexually and get attached to someone that overall you haven't even checked out their values, how they were raised, what their goals and visions are, because you're lonely and you don't have a lot of time. So you put pressure on it happening quickly, and then you have to kind of backstep. People always call me, they're like, oh my God, I met the perfect person, and then I found out he's an alcoholic or she's a anorexic. And I said, well, how long did you date before you jumped in? And they were like, well, we felt the magic, so we figured it would just all work out. They had never met any of their friends. They had never, really seen how the other person lived, because it's a lifestyle. You're building a lifestyle. So you have a certain wild lifestyle like mine, radio and doing interviews, and you're always,
of course.
It's like me, when I was running the rapid dating company, I met my husband. I was in 5 cities going here, TV all the time, radio all the time. And most people couldn't keep up with me. But you just met him. He's wonderful. He loved what I did and was very supportive. But not all men that I dated liked me being a busy workaholic.
Of course. At the beginning, maybe it can attract them, and then like you're too powerful for them, and they're like, like, wait a second, like I need to be the powerful one. But there's like another thing in your book that I really love. It's like, and that actually made me think a lot. It's when you say for the ladies who are in their 30s to 50s, when they start dating a man from their own age group, those men grew up with mamas who took care of them. So those men are looking for a woman. Of course, like they love that you have your career, like you have everything, but they're looking for a woman old school as well. And there's nothing bad in that. Can you like?
My husband was brought up by a 50s mom. My mom was a 50s mom, right? And they were like the Leave It to Beaver moms, and they were home and they cooked. And then in the middle of all of it, my mom went back to work, and so did his. But he came from a big family, and so did I. But it's all about the wiring of a person's family. Now, there's a lot of men and women that have been brought up in divorced families. So you have to kind of look at how they were wired, like the love imprints that you read about in the book, right? Because if they don't have good love imprints, but if they were born, the women that are 40 that are dating the 50 and sometimes 60-year-old guys that are hoping they get a young 40-year-old, right? I always tell the guys, you got to hip it up a little bit. You got to get your, they'll say, I have great clothes. And I said, well, let me check out how you come across to see if you're going to be attractive to younger women. And a lot of men really look great. And some of them look really dowdy and frumpy. They wear old fashioned looks. So I shift their looks and get them new photos and cooler jackets and nice shirts and jeans and boots. And
you like ramp them up.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, So sometimes when I've been working, ladies out there, women watch these shows, and men really like to sneak and watch them, right? Because they want the advice, but men are very private about their affairs of the heart. They're very protective. They don't want other guys to know that they're feeling insecure. So I work with a lot of really busy executives, and you would be surprised at some of the things that they share with you. So busy executives, I think, are the ones that are really searching because they work so much.
Yeah.
When they go through a divorce because they didn't have time for their families, or their wives or husbands moved on because they worked all the time, they had to face themselves. They had to face the fire. Like, the book kind of makes you face yourself, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Of course. No, it's really like, I mean, like, even for someone, I mean, I'm in a relationship finally after 46 years. And I kind of like, there's some stuff that it made me understand him better. And I think it's like, I was like, okay, now I understand. But I mean, for me, I have my busy schedule, everything, but like cooking for my man, it's a pleasure for me. Like it's I guess like I learned it from my mom, who was like, like the Middle Eastern mom who gave everything for her kids and for her husband, So yes, it's like, I love it.
Lucky him, right? I'm Italian too. Men love cooking, and
Yeah.
but a lot of busy women are like, screw all that. I'm not going to do all that. It's like, you have to look at how you're coming across. And I know that when I was running the company back in 2001, I was like, catch me if you can. And men didn't like it, so when it's even the tone of your voice, when women are dating, they'll be like, I'm in a meeting right now. Let me get back to you. And the guy's like, whoa, is this how I'm going to be treated on an ongoing basis? So it's really taking a look at how you come across.
Of
And
course.
sometimes being the boss, Wonder Woman, I go and speak about it. I come out in a cape and I have my lasso of truth. And I say, hey, being a Wonder Woman is fantastic, isn't it? But at the end of the day, can you switch from being that into a feminine woman? So women have been upset that men can't handle our power. But at the same time, are you pushing your power on the men too much, too masculine, to the frequency of masculinity? Or are you showing them that softer side of you that really wants, I don't know about you, but as I was building my companies, I'm sure you felt the same way.
Of course. We're going to we're going to just take our first break and then come back after, and then talk about the Superwoman and the Supermans. But soon, like we have like a few seconds, but when we're going to be on the break, you and I, we can still continue chatting for our Facebook live stream.
That sounds great. Great. Well, I mean, so many people are in the midst of breakups and divorces right now.
I know.
And when they do, I always say you should call me and wake up from your breakup, because if you don't learn the lessons from a breakup, whether it was a marriage or a divorce, then you just keep going back and looping and doing the same thing over and over. And I think, as you were talking about being in your 40s when you found love and dating the wrong men. Hello. As you can read in the book, I did the same thing because I grew up in a lineage of cheating. So, great grandmothers, grandmothers, aunts would say, don't trust love, So I think it's really all how you're wired, and then finding models of love that can show you the way, show you the real way to start a relationship, how to treat your heart as you're getting involved, because people jump in. And it's funny. Have you read the Let's Talk About Sex chapter?
No, not there. I didn't get there.
Not yet. Well, most people jump right to that chapter. So they call and they're like, I wanted to read that chapter right away. And you were right, jumping. And that's what one of the biggest mistakes is, jumping in too quickly without discussing it and not knowing what the other person feels or beliefs are about sex, because sex gets us bonded.
Of course. Well, I mean, like, we'll talk all about all this again, like when we're live on Voice America, so the listeners can really, we're ready?
Yep, we are.
And the music is cool.
You're listening to Say Yes, Be Happy. To reach our show today, we invite you to phone in to 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. Or send an email to bvg@thebon-vivantgirl.com. Now, back to Say Yes, Be Happy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Nathalie Botros, your host, and we're discussing about rewriting your love life with Renee Piane, the love designer. So before the break, Renee was talking about the superwoman, the super powerful woman, executive women who are trying to find love, and then we had to take the break. So Renee, if you have like few advices for those women, like tell them to slow down. We talked about that, and to not rush. What will be else?
Well, I think they have to look back at their patterns. Like, they have to take a good look at themselves and how they came across. And how I did that was, and it's very interesting. If you look in the book, there's all these lists, like look at the pattern in your relationships by writing down every person that you were involved with. This goes for men and women. And people will go, oh my God, a man will say, oh, there was Susan, and then there was Barbara, and then there was, and I said, is there any pattern within that, how long it lasted or what happened or the type of person that you attracted. So this goes for men and women. And when they do that, they go, wow, often if I look at this, I rushed into it too quickly, or her family wasn't really aligned with my family. And, they see a pattern. So
Of
I think
course.
that's number one. And really looking and going back and asking people that you dated. I know I had relationships that ended kind of weird, or I really liked someone, then I let go, and then they called me later to ask me, like, what was it that made you not want to date me, right? What was it that made us break up? And sometimes those conversations, some people hold on to the negativity of a breakup for so many years, like I did with the guy Mario in my book. He
Yeah.
was the one guy that lied and he cheated and then he married someone else. And I had so much anger at him, but intuitively, I always knew when I went back to read, my journal. So that's why in the work that I do, I get you to write out a lot of stuff. And then when
Yes.
you reflect later, you're like, oh my God, I knew this all along, right? Like, get real with yourself. That's the whole point, is get real about what was going on in that inner voice going, we really shouldn't be dating this girl, or I shouldn't be dating
So
this man. But you did it anyway because you were a Wonder Woman, you were lonely, you were a busy guy, you wanted to get some fun, have some fun and maybe some sex. And then you got involved with somebody and
that you knew.
entangled with somebody that you didn't even know or didn't
Yeah.
even like.
But I mean, like, I feel like deep down, like we see the red flags, but we pretend that we don't want to see them sometimes, like because like
Yeah.
it's so easy. But I mean, like, I think we have to be alert a little about all those red flags. But and then we have those people who get married and get divorced and heartbroken. So any advice for those people who come back into dating game? It's like, I know that like, it's especially during the pandemic, we had like a lot of divorces because
Yeah.
like people had to live together and then they noticed that they were not fit to be together. So any advice for those people, men or women?
Well, I mean, anybody that's going through a divorce, first you're going to the lawyers, you're dealing with all of the separation. It's a heart-wrenching process. And during that time, people go down, like they doubt themselves, they're ruminating about what happened, or maybe they're thrilled to death and they're like, woohoo, I'm free. But before you jump in, that's why the book itself is for people to open their heart to love again. The secrets to opening your heart and finding real love is really sitting back and really doing a reflection, because every single person on this planet is either in a breakup, they're waking up, they're reinventing, they're getting themselves ready for love, they're getting their joy back. Like, that's why we're here, is to give them that joyful feeling that even if you're in a funk, you can learn the lessons and then move on so that you don't repeat. It's like constantly repeating the same pattern. And most busy people do have that pattern.
Of course.
Most of the busy men, when they hear me talk about it, they're like, oh my God, you hit it right on the nail. Like it was like, boom. So, but if they keep, they're going to, well, I'm in therapy. And I go, well, I think it's great that you're in therapy, but then what are the steps to make you look at yourself? So that's what the book is, because I went to therapy when I broke up with Mario. I cried over that guy for 2.5 years. So I ran into a couple guys that I dated and they were like, oh my God, I remember you. You were so much fun.
But you
But
kept
I
talking
asked
about
you,
him.
yeah,
No?
but you didn't stop talking about him, right? And then you ask your friends who don't even have a relationship for advice. Get advice from somebody that has what you want, role models that are strong in that area, people that aren't going to just go, oh, go out and get laid again. You're going to
Yeah.
numb the pain with sex. Really get advice from people that are happy, that are balanced, that have what you want. And a lot of people, I guess, when I speak at these big conferences, all of the women are like, it's impossible to find a man. The men are all weird. They're very negative about it. Some are, who's going to put up with me? Like, they have a defense about it. And I said, oh, the men that will not put up, will admire you and adore you, are when you can switch from that part of you into the feminine part of you, because the drive that it takes to do what we all do. I mean, some of the women that I meet at these conferences, they have multi-million-dollar companies. They're hustlers. They always look good. But at the end of the day, they're exhausted. I mean,
Of
weren't you?
course. Of
You get
course. No, no, it's
exhausted.
like for sure. And I think those people who put all those walls up, they're just not ready and they're just scared because like probably they had a heartbreak that we all, men and women, had a heartbreak in our life. And then like we're always scared that it's going to happen again. So we're trying to avoid. And then there comes some point where we prefer to not even try with the risk of like finding the happiness, like just like, like stay in our own corner because like it's our safety zone, it's
Yeah.
easy, it's comfy. But what if, like I always say, what if the happiness is outside that zone? What if you have to give a shot?
And if you are heartbroken, most people will tease you and say, "Oh, just get somebody to have on the side, like a guy, right? Like
Yeah.
go get a guy, a screw buddy or whatever." And I don't even like that term. I call it a temp. So women will
I
say,
love that.
women call me all the time and they're like, "I'm very powerful, I'm very beautiful, I have everything, I have homes and cars and blah blah blah, but now I want a man." And I said, "Well, can I ask you a personal question?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, do you have a temp?" And they go, "Well, you mean like a worker?" I said, "No." I said, "A guy that you are with right now, perhaps you're having him as a lover or a woman as a lover. I don't know. It doesn't
A
matter.
friend with benefits,
Friend
let's
with
say.
benefits." Because if you think about how much time you have in your schedule and you only have a couple nights a week to date, and he or she is at your house 2 or 3 nights a week, then you go to a conference and you meet this amazing guy and you got your phone ringing from your lover calling, "When are you coming home? When are you coming home?"
Yeah,
You really don't have the space for a real man.
of
And
course.
sometimes the women want a package. They order it like a sandwich. They're like, "Okay, well, I'm this, 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 and this. And I have to have someone that's 6'2". He's got to be ready for love. I want a baby and I'm 45, but I can still, my eggs are frozen. And he has to be blonde with blah, 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 blah." And they give it.
Yeah, the whole like
And I said, "Well, you can't order a man like a sandwich. You can't order a woman like a sandwich, but you can meditate. You can get into the zone of what are you bringing to the table? Like, are you really, would you want to marry you right now? Would you really want to marry
that's a good
yourself?"
question.
Like, and I always say, okay, if you're walking around with a heavy heart or you have to do some reflection on where you're at. And if you've tried and tried, it could be how you're marketing yourself, like looking at
Of
what you're
course.
writing. So the writing of what people write, you wouldn't believe some of the clients that
This
were,
is on online dating you're
yeah,
talking, like how like they put their profile. Yeah, that was going to be another question because like right now, like you're at the bar, but people don't talk to each other. They go on the app and then they check each other on the app, It's like
yeah.
it became that's the new us. I mean, like it's kind of funny that you might meet the man of or the woman of your life while you're in the bathroom, but it's still happening and it works.
But
So how
people,
people have to put their profile, like what are the tips for that?
well, I just did. I was on Clubhouse where I met you, and I met this guy. The algorithms of change your algorithms, and I did the algorithms of love. I actually have a copy of it.
No.
I believe I copied it, so that you can see that every word you write is a match for other words that men or women are writing about themselves.
Okay.
So when you change your pictures and you change your wording regularly, it reboots you in a system. So people go, "I'm not getting any matches that I like." And I read what they wrote about themselves. I do an analysis of what they wrote, look at the pictures, and some of them say, "I'm a high powered businesswoman. I'm very busy, but I'm looking now for someone to open my heart. I, recently got divorced." And they start telling all this stuff about themselves that makes them sound like, wow, when are they going to squeeze me in?
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of, "I'm a passionate Italian." What I wrote was, "I'm a passionate 100% Italian woman. I'm very family oriented, but I do have a career where I help people to find love. So I need a confident man who loves his family, loves to celebrate life, loves to be spoiled with, nurturing. I do like to entertain and cook, and I'm very passionate. But no bad boys apply. Like, I'm looking for a long-term relationship with a family oriented man who wants to celebrate holidays and have fun and be able to be really good with people because I'm a people person."
Yeah.
So it was unbelievable. And I said, "And I'm very fun and athletic and in shape. And then you show the pictures, right?
Yeah, of course.
People don't put a lot of thought into it because they don't have time to evaluate what they really want. Now, yeah, there's writing a list of the qualities of a person, but when you convert that into a profile, you have to make it match the algorithms of a man or a woman.
Yeah. And a lot of people put like a picture of themselves, like, I don't know, like 10 years ago, or they lie about their age. So any advice for those people? I see that we have 4 minutes till break, so we still have time to talk about all this.
Well, honesty is the best policy. They're going to find out anyway, but both men and women, sometimes they fudge it a little bit
Yeah.
depending on the app that you're on. Like it'll have age groups and you're like right on the edge. So some people will go to the lower one, of course, thinking that if I'm younger, they'll want me more. But eventually they're going to find out. So don't lie 10 or 15 years.
Of course.
And reality is reality. Pictures are key. I have photographers on my staff. That's why I'm a designer. I take you shopping, I get you new things, I bring you to the photographer, or I advise people on which pictures are going to get better hits. And sometimes just changing your pictures, but don't lie on your pictures, and you can take a great picture with your iPhone.
Of course. Yeah.
There's no reason that you should, and don't do the naked, half naked pictures and send women your penis. It's just
I mean, like that was like a prerequisite on my thing. No naked pictures. Like
no naked pictures.
I don't need to. But
there are sites for every person.
Of course. No, definitely. But the thing is, like, if I come to you as your client and I was like, please make my profile. So you help me to take the pictures. You help me to write what I need to, like the text and everything. And then like I think you help me also on other social media to polish my image.
I do have programs where like people call me and they say, well, can you do an evaluation? So I have a special for that. It's like an hour and a half. I ask them to read the book, because in the book, there's a whole vision chapter, which makes you describe yourself and what you're looking for. And it gives you the homework that you need. Then I'll send you something to write about it, because I know a lot of single people and I've put thousands of people together. I'm sort of a backwards matchmaker because I know so many people, and I say, well, I need you to do a little homework. It's free. But if I start matching you, it takes me time. Like you'll say, well, he has to do this and this, live here or there, or whatever. So when I'm working with somebody, they do some of the homework by reading the book. And then I help after they talk to me about everything. Then I put it together. And if they don't have pictures, some people will fly in. I live in Vegas. People fly in. I take them shopping. I take them to the photographer. Boom. Sometimes within a week, they're starting to meet more people than they've ever met. Or they might already have everything done, but they just need it rewired. But then I look at everything. And then their LinkedIn looks horrible. Their picture there is different. The things they write about them is kind of, it doesn't have a lot to say. So I can redo like backgrounds for you. I did this for a celebrity, actually. You can go to my YouTube, and I did a 12-week breakup process and reinvented him through.
That's amazing.
And he let me film him. He is a gorgeous single guy for all you women that are in their 40s to late 50s. He's in his 60s. He's very handsome and single. But he was so raw and real about doing the inner work. And I think that women, we do a lot of inner reflection. Sometimes men don't do it until they're really hurt. So some of the couples that I've helped put together, I advise them both to read it and ask the questions in the book about who they are, because there's a lot of great questions. You should be asking really great questions on your dates. And I could.
Yes, that's important, I think, to figure out. Actually, I think it's important to figure out what you really, really want, so you can ask those questions and not, like nonsense questions, let's say, like questions that doesn't really, really matter in I couldn't say it, in the relationship. Yeah. So
things that show you the values of a person. So you don't have to spend a lot of time going on all these long dates. You can ask the person 10 questions, say, well, like I'd say, how do you spend the holidays with you? What do you do? And they say, I go away every year. I don't see my family. I'm not into all the hoo-ha, do you celebrate any birthdays? Oh no, I'm not sentimental at all.
Yeah.
Those guys were out.
Yeah. Just like talking about out, we're going to take our second break and then be back in 2 minutes.
Great. This is lots of fun.
I know. It's like we have to have like 3 hours to chit chat.
Hey, you can't go through the whole thing, but knowing yourself is really the key. Knowing,
Of course. Yeah. I really, I agree with you. And then like what people don't get, it's like, like I have a lot of clients, like, of course I help them to find their self-love and self-confidence. But then like, as you said, they have a list. He has to be this tall, this blonde. I'm like, wait a second. If he's like few inches shorter, like it's going to like make you unhappy. Like,
deal breaker.
I mean, like, it's like, you have to be careful between being, on spot and too demanding, because you miss out something amazing.
Well, I have a lot of picky girlfriends, and
Yeah.
I invited them to call in, and they probably were afraid that I'd call them out online. So
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like people
watching, and they know who they are, because I have a friend that was with a guy for a really long time. He was a wonderful guy, but he wasn't contributing. He wasn't working that much, and she was paying for everything, and she was really scared to break up with him because they had that sparkle.
Yeah.
And she kept coming back, and I do card readings for people.
Oh,
I know it's really fun, and
I have to call you for that.
If I try one more time with him, that it'll happen, And I said, let me do the cards, and it was heartbroken with swords every time, But I saw a new person coming. I said, this is an older man. He's a king. He has money. He's successful. And then she goes, oh my God. And then literally a week later, she had broken up for the third time with the guy, and she went to a conference and met this guy, and she said he's not at all like the guys I've ever dated, but he's in the health industry like her, and they ended up together, and they're getting married, and it's so exciting.
It's amazing.
It's so exciting because she's so happy, but she had to let go of that fantasy prince, especially when the prince didn't have any job,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's the other thing. It's like, like, be careful. Define your prince better.
Yeah, but it's also about giving people a chance
No.
that you might not normally be attracted to. And that is the biggest part of the Hollywood fantasy, that everybody's going to look like Brad Pitt or whoever you fantasize that you like or whatever. And, my husband is very, very handsome. I knew my husband many years back. I guess you haven't read the end of the book yet, but I knew him in my 20s from my hometown and met him again when I was 42 years old. So it's a very romantic love story, and
Yeah, that's
everybody wants
amazing.
a romantic love story. I have created thousands of love stories, and I think there's nothing more rewarding than when somebody calls and says, I found extraordinary.
You're listening to Say Yes, Be Happy. To reach our show today, we invite you to phone in to 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. Or send an email to bvg@thebon-vivantgirl.com. Now, back to Say Yes, Be Happy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Nathalie Botros, and we're discussing with Renee Piane, the love designer, about love, whatever, like everything that includes love and how to rewrite our love life. So Renee, you have a beautiful love story, and I want you to tell us a little how you met him, and then like your vision board, because like I think it's really inspiring.
Well, on our next break, I'll run up and get the vision board. I forgot to bring it down. We were, challenged with our sound. But anyway, I had done, I teach vision board classes. As a matter of fact, I have one coming up this Saturday. Even if you have one, you should update your board on love every year. And I was very clear that I wanted a family man, and I wanted a businessman that traveled, because I'm always traveling.
Yeah.
And that I wanted somebody that wanted a commitment. Now, there are millions of people in the midst that are divorced, half of the world or more. So if you are a certain age, if you're 35 and up, maybe 45, 50, you are going to be in a pool of people that have already been divorced. And there's so many people who say, well, I want someone that has never been married, and you're 45. Okay. So if you haven't been married and you know why you haven't been married, why can't you be open to a man or a woman that's married? So I always dreamed that I would find a man that had a child, because I unfortunately kept waiting and waiting. So I said I wanted somebody maybe that had a child, that was a fun businessman, and I put all those things in.
So yeah,
And
a vision board, for the people who don't know, it's like basically a board where you put everything you want from life,
well,
right?
I like to do,
Pictures.
there's a book called the Vision Board book
Yeah.
written, and I'm in that book, and I like to do it in sections. So
Okay.
I say you should have just a love section, because I review people's vision boards. They don't even have pictures of themselves on there. They have pictures of all these things they want without themselves in the middle. So visioning, that's like a whole other discussion. But when you're talking about love, it's not only what you visualize, it's what you're thinking, what you're saying, and what you're visualizing every
Yeah.
day. So I just used to say, like everybody saw me and they go, you look so happy. And I said, I'm getting married. And they're like, when? And I go, well, I don't know, but I put him on a vision board. I'm getting my house ready. I got my clothes ready, because I had a breakup.
Yeah.
I'm ready for love. And I was telling everybody I was getting married. And people were like, you're out of your mind. And I said, no, I'm just in my mind. I'm preparing
Ready.
to be ready. And that's what I teach in my classes. Get Ready for Love. For women is a 5-week. It's so fun to really see, like, get your clothes ready. Like today, you should be going through your wardrobe and creating 5 outfits that you would wear if in 5 more minutes you update your profile, put some new algorithms, and then all of a sudden you get all this action, and you don't have you're like, oh my God, I gained 5 pounds during COVID, or 10 pounds. I don't know what to wear. Wear black with a little
Yeah. It always saves
it's
you.
always the basic,
Yeah.
wear something that makes you feel pretty with a colorful,
Yeah.
wear, like, I love this dress. It's from Paris and it's so fun, and I wanted to wear it. So you wear things that make you feel good, and you should always have 4 outfits ready to get you ready to go, so you get yourself in that zone. But visioning every night, get in bed, play music, start to get your house ready for a person. Men, sometimes I go to their apartments, I'm like, you want a woman in your life?
Yes.
Who would ever want to come here? Like, get this love nest ready. So that's one of my services too. I love to go to people's houses, get them new bedding, and get it all ready. And they're like, why are we doing this? I said, I'm telling you, you're going to meet somebody and you're going to be so happy that we did this.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a designer. I design my whole house. I love to put art up that exemplifies.
Yeah.
And in my real home in Marina Del Rey, I have the Klimt picture. So you have things around you that make you feel like love is coming toward you. Most people are always talking what went away, not what they want, but what they don't want, or what they didn't think they wanted, and now that person is gone. So learn the lessons and stay inspired with rituals. There's
Yeah.
lots of rituals.
So, and then like once you put, like in your story, you put exactly, like we will post it afterwards, because like people have to see. You
I'm
put
going to
the
go up and
picture.
get it on our next break, and I'll show it when we come back. 'Cause I visualize my dog. Okay.
Yeah.
He is right here. This is Mr. Buddy, my dog. This was not, I put the picture of the Caesar dog, and this I just had done for my husband for his birthday. I'll actually go get Buddy, and I'll go get my vision board on our next break. I was running up and down to get.
Yeah. No, I mean, like actually soon you're not going to have time to go and get it, because like this is our last segment, but people, we will post it on all social media so they can see like what you envisioned. And then your husband like is the spitting image of it.
Yes, he is.
So, I mean, how do you have the work, you have the life, you have the love. How do you balance everything?
Well, that is, it's very interesting. I teach a whole class on the art of balancing love, life, family, and business. And for me, it's all about, I even have an article on it on my website, The Art of Balancing Life and Business. But for couples, it says, get back in sync. When you are with somebody every day, you have to couple get out of sync with each other because they're not communicating. And my husband's very busy and I'm very busy. So we let each other know today there's a priority. This is happening, this is happening, this is happening.
Yeah.
And then if you guys if you're working all the time, you have to learn and do rituals to switch from work to play. That includes shutting off your phone, going up and washing the whole day off, making sure you eat. So it's all about the timing of couples when you're together. But if you are rushed or you're stressed about something that you're doing, you need to let your partner know. I promise you, sweetheart, as you pet them or say, I'm going to be giving you all my love after this is over, but I need to focus. Like when my husband's really focused, we plan really fun nights, romance nights, date nights, and little mini vacations. So we take mini vacations, but when we get out of sync, this is what we do. Every couple should have a heart. And when you're not, connecting, instead of going, you know what, I haven't heard from you. You haven't called me, or we're not connecting. It's the tone of your voice, when you say it, how you say it, and the timing of when you say it, right?
Of course.
There's the 3 T's, timing, touch, and tone. So when my husband's really busy, and he was working for a company around the clock a couple years ago, so I go in and I put my hands on his shoulders and I put the little heart down and I say, sweetheart, I miss you. And I usually have a little nightie on. And I say, this office is open for the next 20 minutes because it's getting really late and I miss you, and then I would give him a little kiss instead of doing the bitch tone, you're working all the time, you're not available. So that doesn't work, for anybody. It doesn't work for men. It doesn't work for women. So it's all about the way you present, your anxiety or sadness or disappointment, because usually that other person is focused on something really important, and to you, you're being dismissed,
Of course. No, makes sense. No, it's like to be nice, like to show love all the time. So we're about to finish, but I want to know where everybody can find you.
They can find me at reneepiane.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on Clubhouse, Get Real About Love. I would advise anyone going through a divorce or even wanting to reinvent their marriage to pick this up. It's on Amazon. The thing about Amazon that is kind of a bummer, and I don't know if I've even sent you this, but in the book, I ask you to vow to yourself that you're going to be honest. So if you do buy the book, please let me know. Email me at Renee Piane, because Amazon doesn't let me know that you bought the book. So I don't know who you are. And if you do, I will send you these vows and send you information. And a lot of it's in the book, but this is really beautiful. So they can find me at reneepiane.com. And I have all sorts of classes every month. I have flirting class coming up this Thursday night to teach people how to flirt online. You'll meet great people. I have Get Ready for Love. I have all sorts of stuff coming up. So if you connect with me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll find out about all of these things.
Yes.
And fabulous people like you. But to be happy, it's up to you to take control of your heart, your love life. So if you're going through a shakeup or a divorce, really be kind to yourself and learn from it. Both of us found love, and my love story is on my website, and so is my vision. Like if you go into the vision board class, you'll see the before and after the show.
It's amazing. So, it's great. You can find everything about Renee on her website, because like all the links to her social media are on her website. And I mean, like, it's time for me to do my bye-bye, blah, blah,
Well, anyway,
it's going to be, it's like, it was like so nice for you to come and visit me and then have, like chat with me during this podcast. The thing that I always say, people, of course, they have to look for love, and then like they should contact you to get guidance to find the right love, but they have to be really, really, really ready, and how to be ready for love.
Even just this much of an opening, and they can call me for a free 20-minute consultation.
Listen, people, free consultation with Renee. So don't lose time. Contact her. She's amazing. She makes me smile. She spreads love. I spread happiness. And be ready for love. And then I will take care of you to be ready for love. And she will take care of you to be happy. And she will take care of you to be ready for love. Until next week. Next week, I have another amazing lady coming, Wendy Michelle, and we're going to talk about food, eat happy, be happy. I tell you all a good afternoon, and thank you so much, Renee, and thank you for the listeners. And until the next time, bye-bye for now.
God bless everybody. Keep your heart open to love. I'll see you soon. Call me for a consultation. Bye-bye.
What do you have to lose? Say yes. Be happy.